Welcome to this video. This time I would like to demonstrate how to introduce new machines and new field operations into the IPS. Adding new machines and field operations is done in the IPS in a section that is called the Backoffice. This is a section where the normal user has no access to, and it's even password protected. So after opening the IPS, if you go through all the different parts, different sheets, you will finally reach the last one, the so-called source table. And there is the button that leads you to the back office. I click this button now, and so I'm asked now for a password. The password is of course known only by users who are allowed to enter the back office. So as soon as the password is entered, I can see that it is really Excel where I'm working in. There is normal Excel sheet with the columns and the rows. There's the ribbon with the menus here. So from now on, there's no protection anymore. Everything is free. Everything can be changed. So you have to be very careful what you do. The first sheet that you see is called the ini sheet for initializing a lot of things when, for example, dialog sheets are called by the user. So normally there's no need to change anything. If I go now step by step from sheet to sheet, the next one is called dia for diagrams. Also no need to change anything. The system is using it to build up the different diagrams that are used in the system. Then there's a sheet called MA for the machine. So any machine has one line in this table with all the information that is relevant for the machine and the full cost calculation for each and every machine. You see it starts with the first machinery package and then goes down to the next one and so on. So it's a long list. Next sheet, WP, stands for work process. So there's again one line for each and every work process, again for each and every package. So it starts with the first package, and if you go down, you see there will be the next one. Always starts with the plowing, one by one. The next sheet, FE, stands for the farm enterprises, the wheat, the barley, the maize, and so on. And again, you see there are the different packages. Then a sheet called farm. This is a compilation of all the processes needed for the farm that was entered or for the service provider that was entered, and summarizing the calculations and entries done by the user. Then next sheet is called free. Free means it's related to that section when entering data that is independent from any preset calendar. So it's not related to any of the predefined crop cultivations. So that free section is linked to this one. And then I'm back at the source table, and the other sheets in front are the ones that we already know. This is the section where the end user has access to. So everything behind the source table is normally hidden and protected. But as I said, now nothing is protected anymore, so I can change things, add things as I like. But I have to be very careful. If I would just like to substitute an existing machine, so maybe I would like to introduce a different machine for seedbed preparation and replace the existing ones. So the tractors will remain the same, and if there will be another machine here, I have to enter the new name. And since this has normally to be done for each and every package, because they all have to be comparable, then I do it as many times as I have packages. Then I have to change all the acquisition costs for this new or different machine. So this is very easy. I just go through the existing line and replace the existing entries with the new ones. New acquisition costs, maybe new duration of use, or maybe it's the same. Then duration of use in hours, repair cost factors could be different, could be the same. So this is something that can be done very, very easy because you don't have to add a new line. But what I would like to show you is how to really introduce an additional field operation process. That means also an additional machine or implement for that, because this requires a lot of additional steps, not just replacing existing things. It means adding new lines to many different sheets. So my example is now to introduce an alternative maybe for seedbed preparation, which is based on an implement that is called the vertical rotary tillage, like this one. And I do not want to replace the existing seedbed preparation line here. I would like to add a new one, because maybe it is only for certain crops, or it is an additional thing, so I can still use both. That existing seedbed preparation can be used in addition to the new one. So I do not delete anything, I just add new things. That means we need a new line here, and the new line needs a new code. The last code, it was used for things like soil preparation after plowing was 21, stubble cleaning 22, 23 is not there, it's not used, 24 is seedbed preparation, the next one would be 25. So I add a new line here just by highlighting the complete row and right click, and I would like to insert a row at this place above the line that I highlighted. And then it's always just copying. We will do this many times now on different sheets, inserting new lines for the new machine and the operation, but we will always do it like this, that we insert a new line and then just copy the one above to the new one, because then all the formulas that we need are already copied. We just change then the data. So I highlight the complete row 15 in my case. I copy, so that can be done with Ctrl C, or you select copy from the menu. I go down one line. I would recommend again highlighting the complete row 16 now and paste. So I can paste everything. So now we have the seedbed preparation doubled, but the new one will of course be different. So first we change the code. That's in A16 now. The next number that is available is 25. And I call it seedbed prep with vertical rotary tiller. So the tractors that are used for this operation are just the same as the other seedbed preparation. Then we have the type of the machine. I have to do this now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, because I have 8 different packages for machinery here. I delete the existing description, the type of the machine, and then I add the new ones. I will do this now just for one of these 8 packages for demonstration, but in the end you have to do it 8 times. So every machinery package will need the whole of the new definitions for this operation. My example will be part of the 80 horsepower high level package. So I will do everything for this package only, but everything has to be repeated for the other packages as well. So I call this now a vertical rotary tiller and go to the next section. Next section is acquisition costs. So everything that was just copied will be deleted. I add the price now for package that I'm working on. That is the 80 horsepower. Again, all this has to be repeated then for the other ones as well. All right, I will type in something that will be the use then. Next section, duration of use in years. Since this is usually standardized so that we have the same duration of use in years for all the packages, I just leave it as it is. So in my case, it's 12 years because it's high level. Then the duration of use in working units. This is hectares in this case. So first I delete and then I enter. So let's say 5,000 hectares lifetime capacity. The others I will leave empty for the moment, but later all the cells have to be filled. Repair cost factor. So again, delete and I add only mine. So that might be even a bit more than the other ones. So 1.5 1.7. Then diesel demand. There I think I can leave the 1.1. The 1.1 means that based on the normal diesel consumptions, I need 10% more, a factor of 1.1 times the normal diesel demand. This is what this means. So this is okay for land preparation. Then working process time demand. I will again delete first, and then let's say it takes usually 1.1 hours. Number of workers needed. This is usually the tractor driver. So that's one always, so just leave it. Then the price, if I alternatively would call a service provider, price for that would be, let's say, 110. Now calendars start. So if I think that in future I will use this vertical rotary tiller instead of the seedbed preparation that we have in row 15, then I could delete what is entered in row 15 and maybe leave it just like this in row 16 for the new one. If it's something in addition that is done before the normal seedbed preparation, then we could leave this and add something new here. So maybe this is done half of the area in March first half and the other half here. So then it will be in addition to. I will use the vertical rotary tiller, and then just before sowing I'm using the one without rotation in addition. So both is possible. So I can do this for the wheat. I can also do this for other crops. So you see again, it's just copied. If maybe there it is the same, then it's a 0.5 and a 0.5. And I will do it also for the maize, and the others I just leave, but you have to check all of them. For the maize, just for demonstration purposes, I do it like this, that I do not need the seed bed preparation that was done so far, and just leave it like this. So this is now alternatively to the old seed bed preparation. So both is possible. So you have to set up all the calendars now and see for which crops you will use the new technology. Will it be in addition to the old one, or will it replace the old one? You can do it as you like. All right. So far for the source table. Now we have to start again in the real back office. We don't need the ini sheet and the diagram sheet, but we start with the machine. So it's the sheet MA, and as I told you, I'm doing all of this now for this package with the 80 horsepower tractor, high level. So let me see where it is. There, it's the machinery package with the code of 13. So this is my 80 horsepower tractor, high level. So maybe you remember that my new tiller has the code 25. So if I go through this list, you see, the Lemken plow was 21, and the cultivator, one of the cultivators was 22, and another cultivator that is used for seedbed preparation is 24. And then before the seed drill is there, this is where I should introduce now the new line 25 for the new tiller. So it's the same thing as before. We insert a new line. So I do a complete selection of the line, and I choose from the menu Insert. I copy the row above, completely select it, copy it, then the empty one, completely select it, and paste. If I change now the code from MA1324 to 25, you see that something is happening. It doesn't look nice at the moment, but let's just continue and come back to this later, and you will see that everything is then fine. Let's just do this now for all the different worksheets. Introduce one new line with a new code. I continue on the sheet for the work processes, WP. All right, so this is the first package. So I first have to look for the 80 horsepower package again. It's also the code with the 1.3. So this is the one. So you see the code is WP13. This is what we need. Then we have the codes 21, 22, 24, and we will introduce again, insert a new row between the codes 24 and 31. So I take that one, completely highlighting, right click, insert a row. I take completely selected the row above the new one and copy. Then I completely select the new one, right click and paste, and I change it to 25. So now there's a little bit more on this one. If you go down, 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 down until you reach the last one, the last package, then you see that there's another section. And in this section, all these different operations are, let me say, built together, because it's always a combination of a tractor and at least one implement. Sometimes it's even two implements. In this case, it will be just one, because we have the tractor and we have this new tiller. And we again need our package, the package with the code 1.3. So we go down, down, down. So this is the package 1.1. Then there's the package 1.2. And this is when the package 1.3 starts. Plowing, stubble cleaning, seedbed preparation. So we will add now lines again between the codes 24 and 31. And you see we need more than one line now, because such a new operation needs one line for the tractor, one line for the implement, and then there's an empty line. So 3 more. That means at this point we add 3 more rows. I highlight completely 3 rows, and above my highlighted range there will be the new ones inserted. So I completely highlight them, I right click and choose insert. Then I completely highlight the 3 existing rows above, because I want to copy all the formulas. Right click, copy. I again completely highlight and select my empty ones, the new ones. Right click, paste, and I change the code from 24 to 25. Just need to do this here once. Be careful. There is another code. The first code is for the tractor. That is just the same. But the next code in this cell is still 24. It's still linked to this Lemken cultivator, the one without rotation. So I have now to link this to my new one, 25. And you see, this is my vertical rotary tiller already. So that's all that I need to change. I always just change codes. That's all. So the next one. Now I'm on FE Farming Enterprises. You remember that we said that for wheat and barley and maize, we will use now this new implement. So we do it first again only for our package 1.3, the 80 horsepower package, which is here, that one. But I say again, everything that we are doing now, we have always to repeat for each and every package later on. So you see there is nothing that is directly related to the new machine. But if you go down, further down, see again now things that belong to each and every farm enterprise that is defined. So it all starts with the first package, and there we have the wheat, and we have the barley, and then the maize. We have to go down, down, down. I go down until I reach package 1.3 again. So this is 1.1, 2. This is the start of 1.3. There you see we have the stubble cleaning, the plowing, the seedbed preparation, the sowing. And this is where now we need the new one. So in the wheat, we introduce again we insert a new line, we copy the one above down to the blank one and paste. Change the code from 24 to 25. So as you see, it's the seedbed preparation with a vertical rotary tiller. We do the same for the barley. Insert the line, copy the one above down to the new one, paste. And for the maize, if you would set the calendar before for any other crop as well, you have to continue like this, but I did it only for the wheat, barley and maize, so I do it just 3 times. And for the maize, insert the row, copy the one above and paste it in the new one. And change the code. I think I forgot to change the code for the barley maybe. So this time from 24 to 25. Yes, that's done. Let me check the barley. Yes, you see it. And with the barley I forgot it. So I have the seedbed preparation, the old one, twice there. So the second is wrong. It must be 25. So again here, when you do this later again, you have to do this for each and every package. So also for the FE12 package and the 11 and all of them. So let's have a look at farm sheet. So there's nothing, because this is a summary of all the different crops, and we defined it also for the crops, so no need to do anything. And there for free, you see this is now related again to the individual operations. There we have this 24, 21 to 4, and then the sowing. So there we have to introduce a new line, but we do it this time only for our package 1.3. So go down to our package 1.3. This is where we add the new row between code 24 and 31. So again, selecting the whole complete row, insert the row, copy the one above, paste it into the new one, and of course change the code to 25. Also here, later we have to do the same thing again for the other packages. Now we are back at the source table, but this was already done. After inserting the new line in the source table, we started on the MA sheet for the machines. And maybe you remember that it looked a bit strange because there were some formula errors. So if you go back now, the formula errors are gone. So everything is already there. There's our vertical rotary tiller in our package 1.3. Price is there, the acquisition costs and lifespan is there. So all the data from our source table is already there. So no further need. So you see, you go through the different sheets, insert lines, copy the formulas and paste the formulas and change only the codes. And that's all that you need to do in the back office. There is actually an additional step that has to be carried out, but not in the back office. It has to be done on the control board, so in the section of the IPS that is available to the end user. But before we go there again, let me just repeat what has to be done with the other working packages. We started our way from the source table. And if I scroll to the left, then you see that I only did all this for my machinery package for the 80 horsepower high level, and the others are still empty. So that means it has to be done as well for any else. I will not repeat now all this in total 8 times for each package, but I just go through the steps again. So that means if we want to do it now for the 80 horsepower intermediate level, we type in the name of the tiller that is part of this package. We scroll to the right, enter the acquisition costs, which is usually a bit lower. For this package, we scroll to the right. So there we have already everything. But there is the next empty cell, duration of use. That might also maybe a bit lower than for the high package. Then next section, repair cost factors. That could be the same, maybe a little bit more. Then diesel demand we left in already, so this we can leave it as it is. Then the working process time demand could maybe a bit more than for the high package. Number of drivers is the same, and then we are back at our calendar, but the calendar is true for every package. So that means after this we continue on the machines sheet MA. So we did everything for the 80 horsepower package already. That was the code 1.3. So the one below is actually always above here. So that's the MA12. That's the 80 horsepower intermediate. We had now to again insert the empty line, copy the line, the row above to the new one, paste it, change the code. Then we do the same on WP page for the work process. So this one was work package 1.3. We go up a bit. So this is work package 1.2. There we need 2 lines. This is where it is. So that means sewing serials, above the sewing serials. 3 lines actually, because there's an empty one. Insert the lines, copy from the lines above, change the code. Then don't forget to get up until we reach these lines again, and we need package 1.2 and insert a row, copy from the row above into that one. So before I continue on the next page, there's one more additional thing that has to be done, because there's another work package at the end. So we have 8 packages plus one for the services. The one for the services is the one with the code 99. We defined the price for calling a service provider with the same machine already on the source table sheet, but there we also need a line. That means same thing between the codes 24 and 31. You would need to insert a row, copy from the row above, select completely and paste, change the code to 24.5, and then you see that if you go a bit to the right, there is the price that we entered on the source sheet. It's already there, but it has to be filled as well. So that means not only the 8 packages for mechanization, also the package for the service provider has to be equipped with the additional line. So now we go to the next sheet, FE. So there's our package 1.2. And you see there's the wheat and the barley and the maize. So that means 3 times, because for these 3 crops we defined our new mechanization. So there again, additional line here, additional line there, the barley, and additional line for the maize there. When doing this for all the different working packages, and within all the working packages for all the farm enterprises that are concerned by the new machine, don't forget that in the very end of this long list, there's our package with the code 99, the one for the prices with the service providers. And even there, we have to add our new seedbed preparation. So this is our package 99, the one for the service provider. This is where we have to enter a line for the wheat. And if I go down a little bit to the barley, there is the place for the new line for barley, and there it's for the maize. Then on that farm sheet, nothing to do, but on the sheet 3, again going up to package 12, inserting a row here, and then repeating this again and again and again for each and every working process and each and every machinery package. Then everything is done in the back office. When everything is done in the back office, then we go up and come to the control board, because there we have in columns each and every working process. There's the plowing, stubble cleaning, seedbed preparation, sowing. So this is again code 24, code 31. So normally you don't see these codes, but because we are now in the back office mode, we see a little bit more. And what we need to do is now insert a new column, and we start in the line where the code is. That's row 15. And we highlight now the column for the code 31 because we want to insert a new column just before this one. So I do not highlight the complete column this time because I don't want to add anything in the upper part. I just want to add a column starting with row 15 where the code is. So I go down, 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 right click, insert. And since it's not an entire column, I would like to shift the cells to the right for my selected range. Not the entire column, just squeeze something in here. And I press OK. And now, as usual, I copy what I already have. I take the seedbed preparation column completely, not the complete column, but from the code in row 15 down to the last row, that's 59. I copy, and in J15, where the code should appear again, there I paste. I change the code in J15 to 25, and the seedbed preparation will be changing to seedbed preparation with a vertical rotary tiller, and now everything can be used. So let's use it and try it actually. So if we add something here, maybe doing some wheat production or using the tiller for wheat, but not in here, just there to see if something happens. Maybe 20 hectares, you see there is something happening. But you see that only package D, which is the 80 horsepower high, is now reacting because all the other packages I did not yet fill. Only this one is there. If I go down, maybe go down here and say, okay, maybe I do another seedbed preparation in March of another 15 hectares. It should go up a bit, yes. So there is something already, but to see all the different packages, get results for them, we had to add all the different lines and copy the formulas and everything for each and every package. So if I enter now, maybe not these specific ones. So if I enter just something for the wheat production, because the wheat production contains also that new work process, maybe 50 hectares. So now we get a full picture, of course. And for the wheat, because it's in the calendar, the new machine is already there. So that means if we have a look at our next sheet, we should see if one machine is enough, or if we have more and more hectares to do, then even need 2 or more of these machines, of these implements. It's not yet entered in the first package, 30 horsepower, not in the 80 horsepower low and intermediate. It's only entered here in 80 horsepower high. Let's have a look. There's the plow, that's code 21. Then the cultivator is 22, 24, and 31, the seed drill. So there is also not yet a line for our new implement. So here again we have to insert a new line. Same thing as before. I highlight the one with the 31, code 31, right click, insert row. I take the one row above and copy and paste it in the empty one. This one, paste there. You do not even need to change the code, it's automatically done. So that's fine. And you see, there's our vertical rotary tiller, and we have one machine that we need, and it's utilized in the peak season, 19% of its capacity, everything already there. That means when you add all this information on the different sheets in the back office for all the different packages, in the end, you also have to add a new line on that investment sheet for all the different packages. So like here between 24 and 31, and like here between code 31 and 24. So again, 8 times. On the other sheets, there's nothing that you need to do. Total costs is already included then. Detail for a machine is there. Maybe we have a look what happens if we select this machine now. I open the list. So this is the first package. So where's my package 1.3? There it is. And there's my vertical rotary tiller. Then you see there's no picture yet. So this is something that we still have to do. If you want to have a picture displayed, then we need to feed it into the system. But even without the picture, the table is already ready to be used. So I close this one. And you see we have the capacity line over the year with the available hours during the different half-month periods. And in February, March to April, most in March, this is where we are using the machine, because in our calendar for the wheat, we defined that in these times, this is when we need our new tiller. And since on the control board, we only entered now 50 hectares of wheat, we are following the calendar for the wheat, and this is exactly what it tells us. To integrate a picture of our tiller into the system, we of course need the JPEG file with a picture of it. I just switch to my file explorer, and there you see there's JPEG file. I called it vertical rotary tiller. If I open it, you see that this is exactly the implement that we need. And all I have to do is, in the folder where my IPS file is saved, and this is the one, there's usually also a subfolder called pics. This is where the pictures are. And if I open this, you see all these pictures of the different machines, and they are all coded. So it always starts with MA for the machine, and then the code for the package starts with 01, and there will be 11 and 12 and 13, and then a minus and the code of the machine. So our new tiller should be named MA 13 minus 25, because 25 is the code that we used for that. So I rename my JPEG file into MA. Then the code for the package is 13 minus, and 25 is the code of the new tiller. And then I just put it into the pics folder, and that's it. And when I change back to the IPS, which is still open actually, I didn't close it, and I open the list of machines again, then it's already there. So I change maybe to another one. So that was the tractor. I go down again to my new tiller. This is the picture. Of course, even this has to be done for each and every package. So we need a picture for each and every machinery package, smaller ones, bigger ones, higher level, intermediate, low level, everything. And we just rename the JPEG file using MA, the code for the package, the code for the machine, and that's it. So I close this now. And with this, I demonstrated completely how to add new machines and new working processes that can be integrated into the IPS. What you should of course not forget is to save the changes. So this is something, as you just know from Excel, in the Files menu, you just click on Save and that's done. If you now just close the file and open it again, you will automatically be taken out of the back office. The back office will be locked again, so only with the password you would get in. But if you would like to continue working now as the end user is doing it without closing the file and opening it again, you could also close the back office. If you go to the INI sheet, there are 3 buttons there, and with the first one you can leave the back office and go back to the welcome sheet, and all these sheets from the back office will be hidden again, will be blocked again, so that nobody can enter without the password. So you see the last sheet is the source table. There's no other sheet visible, and we are back at the welcome sheet. Maybe you saw that there was another button at the side on the INI sheet. So if we want to go there again, we had to go back to the back office and enter the password again. Just want to show you what happens if you take the second button. It says prepare the file for publishing. The welcome sheet only is visible. It's a pre-welcome sheet actually. So I just click there and you will see what happens. So this is another sheet telling you a welcome to the information and planning system. This sheet you normally do not see, and you see that there's no other sheet visible at the moment. This is a sheet that should help the user if, for example, the macros are not activated, or the whole file is maybe downloaded from the internet and has to be unblocked before the user can really use it and apply everything. If somebody opens the IPS for a very first time after downloading maybe from the internet, from a website, and he has not activated the macros and not unblocked the file, he will see only this one, and he can go through the different steps here and read and learn what he has to do to get the whole system work, like unblocking the file, like activating the macros. That's all described here. That means if he follows all these instructions and steps, then he will be able to use the file. So before publishing the file and distributing it, it's always a good idea to display from the back office by pressing that button, display only this welcome sheet, so that the user is always in a position to activate everything and get everything ready to work.